Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the new card report. The video I released 3 days after the cards were revealed, apparently, because I don't get enough views to release multiple videos in one day, and I fear that doing so will make other videos tank in views and otherwise tank my appearances in the algorithm, but that's just my fear. I don't know. Let's get into it. And that right there, folks, was the closest you'll ever see me get to journalistic integrity on this channel, full on admitting that I delay things to my own detriment for fear of my own detriment. YouTube! Speaking of Yugioh, what a segue, Duelist Nexus, it seems, is the set that the community's own Douglas Konami representative Dzeef himself worked on, with Altergiest being one of the decks getting new support, and some other cards that I will also talk about as well. Altergiest Malwisp is a level 3 light spellcaster type tuner with 1500 attack and 0 defense, with 2 effects, each graced with a hard once per turn because we learned from Inzectors, or so it would seem. If it's added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can special summon it, and on normal or special summon, it targets an Altergeist in your graveyard, except for a copy of itself, and then special summons it in defense position. The caveat being that it can't activate its effects this turn. So that's just really good, right? Like, you can't use your effects on that same turn, but you can use them on the opponent's turn. Be, you know, one of the 8 traps you activate, triggering one of the 8 monsters you play in your deck that trigger when you activate one of your 8 traps. That doesn't seem to be too much of a problem, I would think. I don't play Altergeist, and truthfully, somehow I've never even run into it at locals or anywhere else. I've just been graced with the divine luck of not having to deal with Altergeist, which has been pleasant for me. I'm not gonna lie, I've enjoyed that. But a self-summoning Wolf Bark is surely playable in the deck. Plus, it's a level 3 tuner, so they can finally make that synchro that probably still sucks even with this card existing anyways. But you can do it now. It's extending, if nothing else, and I'm declaring that to be good. Ring the bell, Friar. This card is good. No idea what that was about. Up next is Altergeist Perinatrator. Wait a minute. Perinatrator. Doug, please name them simpler things. I'm Jared, 19. I can't fucking read. This is a level 1 fire spellcaster with 500 attack and 300 defense, and it can attack directly. It's kind of like a parody of Meluseek. But when it inflicts battle damage, you can draw a card instead of destroying one, and if it's sent from the field to the grave, you can dump a Altergeist card from your hand, deck, or even face up field to the graveyard instead of searching. So it's like a shittier Meluseek. Nah, dude, it's fire. I don't doubt that it can set up plays, but I feel like this isn't what the deck needed. Again, far from an expert, inform me of my errors, but between this and Meluseek, I'm pretty sure we stay true to blue, kids. And that rhymes, so it's true. Meluseek wins. There's also a new boss monster for the deck, a new Link 4, Altergeist Adamina. Adamina? Altergeist Beeg. A dark spellcaster with 3000 attack, and link arrows pointing up, down, left, and right. To summon it, you only need 2 or more Altergeist monsters, and with both effects once again being hard once per turns. On Link Summon, you can set any Altergeist trap card from your deck onto your field, and once while this is face up on the field during the main phase, it can quick effect send 1 card you control to the grave to target an opponent's effect monster, take control of it, and if you do, it is treated as an Altergeist monster. Yeah, that's kind of nutty, isn't it? It searches any trap that the deck needs or wants, almost, except for the most important one, with this being unable to set spoofing, but it's a permanent snatch steal effect, so to say. Plus, if you can send it, and then, you know, send it for its own effect, and then revive it on the next turn and do it again and snatch it to this, there's potential with this, right? There's shenanigans, and it's an Altergeist monster that makes your opponent's monsters into Altergeist, so you can use them for further Altergeist Link monsters that need Altergeist. It seems pretty playable. Pretty damn playable. Plus, since it is once while face up on the field, there's the trap that reborns it anyway, so it's not like it's too restricted. I don't know. Overall, this seems like a much better boss monster than the last Link 4 they got. And that means that there is at least 2 solid cards from this little wave here. And congrats go to Altergeist players, much to the bane of everyone who has to play against you. You've cleared the lowest of possible bars that Dinosaur set early on for this set. My god. Last up for Geists is a new trap card, because, of course, it's a trap deck. It's going to get trap cards. Can you imagine if they just got 4 spell cards? Now that would be funny. You know what's not funny though? The effect of Altergeist Revitalization. This normal trap card, when activated on field, targets an Altergeist link in your grave and summons it, and can banish itself from your graveyard to, after this effect resolves, immediately normal summon 1 Altergeist monster. See? Did you laugh at that effect at all? Maybe you laughed at my stumbling of Altergeist, because it's Altergeist and I just can't speak apparently. But beyond that, the effect itself was not comedic in the slightest. You suck, Altergeist Revitalization. You don't understand comedy at all. How about you revitalize some bitches? Oh, that's where I'm at. Okay, so this is just a worse version of the other Altergeist trap card that already revives Altergeists, right? Am I right in saying that? I don't know. From what I gather, it's cool for the Grave effect exclusively, which is comboable or plays well with parrying a traitor, but other than that, I don't know if those 2 things make each other worth playing. You can tell me. I made a get some bitches joke a minute ago. I am verifiably useless right now. As for the support in totality, hell of a lot more than the underwhelming synchro from the last time Altergeist got support, if I remember correctly. But from what I'm hearing, this still does nothing to address the main struggle of the deck, which is that it needs a way to find spoofing. Don't worry, you'll get your Link one that searches spoofing in due time, Geisters, and then everyone will go wild about it, and then I'll finally have to play against this deck, and I will learn to hate it as much as everyone else seems to. Can't wait. Also in Dune is not Timothy Chalamet in regards to Yu-Gi-Oh, but instead a woman. Hita, the Fire Channeler, continues the trend of level 5 Charmer attribute support. Like the counterparts, it is also an 1850 attack, 1500 defense schmuck, and is always treated as a Charmer card. Each of its effects are hard once per turns, as is tradition in this video apparently. You can discard this card and any fire monster to add any fire monster from your deck to your hand whose attack is greater than the other monster you discarded to activate this effect. Also, after you use this effect, you can only activate the effects of fire monsters for the rest of the turn. The other effect is that when a fire monster is destroyed by battle while this is in your hand, you can special summon it out. So that a second effect, it's pretty much entirely irrelevant. We're not going to talk about it, but man, that first one makes it a staple in like every fire deck? Question mark? Infernoble, off the top of my head, has a way to search Gearfried that doesn't make it unusable by searching it with Isolde. Pitch Spinny in Salamangreat, and you've got Gazelle and Salads in like full combo. And of course, the arbitrary Pitch Shell or Rimfire in Volcanic, and you can get access to Trooper, Rocket, Emperor, whatever it is you need. Not too bad. Not to mention other fire decks that might want to play it, like say Battling Boxer or it's a pretty good card, which makes me excited as a Mermail player to hijack this and be like, what if the water one's good too? That's some lethal levels of copium that I'm huffing, but it doesn't matter. Also, is that a fucking Pearly in the card art? I know it's not. It looks like a Pearly to me. What is the second monster? We got like Inari Fire or an equivalent of it, and then just a little Pokemon there, just chilling. Let me know so I can waste money on buying a copy of that card to put it in my neat binder. Please and thanks. And a few odds and ends from Dune as well. We've got a new Illusionist type monster. Nightmare Magician is a level 7 Illusionist with 2500 attack and 2000 defense with 3 effects. The first pretty well confirms that this is apparently a common effect amongst Illusionist monsters and not just the Phantom Beast archetype we looked at previously. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battles involving this card. That is on every Illusionist printed so far, and it presumably will be for some time moving forward. The other two effects of this card are that at the end of the damage step, if it battled a monster, you can take control of that monster. And lastly, if another monster attacks at the start of the damage step, you can destroy one card on the field. So it's got non-targeted destruction and is a non-targeted snatch steal so long as your, non-target can be targeted with an attack. That's strange as hell to me that Illusionists would all share the exact same effects like a pseudo Gemini, but not actually. But hey, Psychics all paid life points originally as a shared common gimmick, and Worms did exist upon release in 2014. But Illusionist seems to be the first that shares the literal same effect word for word. It's just a shame that this monster in particular is level 7, because honestly, I kind of want to tech this into like Pendulum Magician or something stupid for the memes at locals. Main deck Borreload sounds like a fun time, albeit an impractical one, but hey, as some Redditor said, it's like the ace monster of an anime we never got. Or it's pandering to Dark Magician fan. You tell me. We've also received Duelist Genesis, and no, not the core set from 2008, although yes, we did receive that in 2008. No, this is a spell card following the trend of things like Duelist Alliance and Cyberdark Impact before it, of cards sharing a name with the core set. And if you're familiar at all with Duelist Alliance, this card's effect will not surprise you in the slightest. This one can only be used if you have a tuner either on your field or in your grave, but its effect will let you add one synchro spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Unfortunately, I feel the number of good cards with Pendulum in their name is much higher and more abusable than the number of good cards that are spell and traps that say Synchro in the name, but this can search, say, Synchro Overtake, giving you access to pseudo ROTA, or even Synchro Chase to better help extend plays that is made better by virtue of being searchable now. Or fuck it, Desynchro is searchable as well if I'm not mistaken, which means that we can take a deck known for the longest and most degenerative turns and make it into a somehow even longer and more degenerative turns. I am a Synchron player, I'm allowed to say it. Also in this set is a random ass card that debuted in the anime back in like 2006. Yeah, the dreaming of Dark World players finally comes to an end. Dark Corridor is the Dark World ROTA that does exactly what Dark World players want it to. It will add any Dark World monster from deck to hand and then discard a card from your hand as a card effect. Simple as. No level restriction, easier access to Snow, Grapha on command, and sure, it's got a hard once per turn, but another night of locals is set to be ruined by Silva hand loops for some poor bastard out there. What more needs to be said? Sure, you can complain that this doesn't search any Dark World card, but it searches Snow and then can discard Snow to search any Dark World card. And yeah, it's a hard once per turn, but if you get to the point where you're seeing 3 consistently, it's because you're playing Dark World and drawing 48 cards. You're not allowed to bitch at that point, okay? That's just how the deck works. Nothing else to say. This card's as fucking ugly on the card art as it is good in its deck. And lastly for today, a card. Yes, it is a card. But this isn't really made to be played so much as it is owned, or at least that's the take I'm proposing now, so bravely of me. Magicians of Bonds and Unity is for legal reasons not Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. No, this is a level 8 spellcaster with 2500 attack and defense that cannot be normal summoned or set. It has to be special summoned from your hand by having 25 or more cards in your graveyard. And if your opponent has 25 or more cards in their graveyard, this will gain 2500 attack. Hey, did you know that Yugioh is currently celebrating its 25th anniversary? You do now, also you did before, come on. And that's what this is. This is just celebrating the 25th anniversary. It's exactly like 10K Dragon in my mind. It's a celebration card to be collected, not something to actually be played in an actual duel. I saw some people talking about how this could be a tech in like Grass decks and Master Duel, and like rank 8 spams or something. It's like, sure, you could find a way to play this in decks, but you could instead also choose to play good cards instead. Just proposing some ideas here. This is a collector's gimmick, and that's fine. Some cards are literally just meant to be collected. Play it if you want, but my prediction is honestly that this is probably going to be like exclusively a quarter-century secret rare when we get it in the TCG, or at least I won't be surprised if that's the case, because Ruxxin needs to make more videos about some things, and well, if there's always a chase card, we've always got Ruxxin, and that's a good thing. Or I'm wrong, and who cares? There's the card. There's the card. That's the news. On to the sponsor. Shoutouts for today's video, of course, go to the LIFD magnetic display, the best way to support the channel currently, and one of the best ways to show off a potentially super special ass bond of unity and magicians and not dark magician, I promise you, that you maybe pull from Duelist Nexus when that set drops in July. Think about it and buy ahead. Don't be like the Gold Pride and buy it after the market jumpers. What a joke. I'd appreciate it, is what I'm getting to. And you can use my promo code to help me out and help yourself out to a 15% discount. Or you can click the link in the description. Either way, it's a thanks to LIFD for the support and a thanks to you for watching. That'll wrap it up for this new card report. Just covering some of the new cards today. I'll be a regular update in the future on the next Friday whenever this comes out. And there was probably one the past Friday. Whenever this comes out. It's crazy. It's crazy how the update just happens on Fridays. And if you want to see more of those updates and more of these new card reports, you can go ahead and subscribe. And if you do so, not only will you impress your smoking Italian wife, not only will I thank you in each and every video, but you will in fact immediately become, upon subscription, a true duelist.